Hello and welcome. This is Nationwide on the largest television network in Africa, the NTA, and I am Binto Aliyu Sumwonu. Welcome. The federal government says it will not abdicate its responsibility in not only protecting but enhancing the growth and development of legitimate business concerns that hold a very important place in the nation's economic well-being. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while granting audience to the national executive members of the Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers on a courtesy visit. State House correspondent Adam Musambu reports that the promised proactive steps towards ending illegal tax collections. Details of this report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Now, honesty is said to be the soul of business, and this time, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo observed that this has been lacking in governance of the country until the emergence of the Buhari administration. This was when the Vice President paid a courtesy visit to the Emir of Kaltungo, where he emphasized the need for Nigerians to re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
This is Kaltungo, a major town in Gombe State. People are farmers faced with challenges, including incidences of snake bites and ecological issues.
The cry of children here in Kaltungo is so common because of snakes. For somebody to get a complete dose of anti-snake venom, you have to spend about 90,000 naira. Our people are poor, they are farmers, they cannot afford it. If we can help us and reestablish and bring back the anti-snake production laboratory, that will be fine. Vice
President Yemi Osinbajo describes Kaltungo as a special place with rich traditions and historical background. He says as responsible government, the role is not only to preserve the people's tradition, but to work for the advancement. The Buhari administration, he says, would not shy away from its responsibilities, but do what it ought to do.
We are determined to tell the Nigerian people everywhere we go that the next elections is about whether we want, is about the future of our country. This 2019 election is about the future. It's not about Muhammadu Buhari, it's about the future of our country. Our country must have honest, righteous leadership, a man who does not steal the money of the state and who will not allow it to be stolen.
Urging the people to vote for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari, he explains that the president is providing the type of leadership the country needs at this point in time.
I want to emphasize that the reason why we believe that a second term is important is because it's important for our country to have a period or even a long period of honest and truthful leadership. The problem of our country, Your Royal Highness, has never been ideas. It has never been projects. Projects are started, they are not completed. There are so many good ideas. It is honest leadership that is the problem of our country.
As a sign of gratitude for the visit and provision of infrastructure such as roads by the federal government in the area, this well-decorated horse was presented by the monarch to the vice president. In Kaltungo, Gombe State, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Still remaining with the Northeast, the Taraba State chapter of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has endorsed President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election bid, announcing the endorsement in Jalingo, the state capital. The leadership of the association says the decision is in recognition of the tremendous achievements recorded by the Buhari-led administration. Awal Abdullahi reports.
Inaugurating the volunteer group commander and his two assistants, the President Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Muhammadu Kirua, urged his members with questionable character to repent, as the group will continue to cooperate with security agencies to expose criminal elements among them. Muhammadu Kiriwa disclosed that more than 10,000 Fulanis with questionable character have repented in Niger State and banned hawking among Fulani young girls to maintain their dignity. Speakers at the occasion called on the volunteer group to cooperate with security agencies in the fight against kidnapping, banditry, and cattle rustling.
Going to work in various local government and their wards. They are not allowed to hold any sophisticated weapon because they are with the security agencies. Theirs is to give us information.
The group endorsed President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election bid, saying they cannot be deceived with wealth.
We are supporting Buhari because they are creating jobs for our people. They are creating security issue for our people.
The inauguration of the commanders is coming at a time when reports indicate the emergence of armed bandits around some border communities in the state. In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Now, the women wing of the All Progressives Congress APC Kano State chapter has taken the campaign for the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje to the grassroots. This is with a view to mobilizing more support to ensure the victory of the party in all elections. The campaign train under the leadership of the wife of Kano State Governor Hafsat Abdullahi Ganduje was in Dawakin Tofa local government area to spread the gospel of change and moving to the next level. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that at the reception for women in the area, there was a recommitment to the success of the party.
This is a gathering of party faithful from Dawakin Tofa, Tofa and Brimungado local government areas celebrating achievements of the All Progressives Congress at federal and state levels in the last 3.5 years. It was also a platform to restate their loyalty to the party and commitment towards its success. The rally was led by wife of Kano State Governor, Dr. Hafsat Abdullahi Ganduje, who cited President Buhari's social investment program as well as Governor Ganduje's empowerment and infrastructural development initiative as reasons why APC deserves another chance.
We're sorry for that frozen picture in that report. And from north, we move to the south as the APC stakeholders from Akwa Ibom South Senatorial District have reaffirmed their support for President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election in view of his positive impacts, particularly in the fight against corruption. They also describe as competent and service-oriented the APC governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State, Ogbon Nsima Ekere. Marian Vincent, who was at a press briefing organized by Akwa Ibom South Senatorial District Strategic Leadership Forum, has the details.
The group, which says they are committed to ensuring the emergence of a leader who will take Akwa Ibom State to the next level, stated that their support for the APC governorship candidate, Ogbon Nsima Ekere, stems from his resilient, innovative and pragmatic leadership style. As members of the candidate's immediate constituency, the group said, having served as deputy governor between 2011 and 2012, Ogbon Ekere's capability to transform Akwa Ibom State is not in doubt. They therefore pledged their commitment to the emergence of President Muhammadu Buhari for a second term and Ogbon Nsima Ekere as the next governor of Akwa Ibom State.
We have read and digested the blueprint manifesto of Ogbon Nsima Ekere. Conscious of the aforesaid and many other reasons that we, the strategic leadership forum, have decided to pitch our tent with Ogbon Nsima Ekere, governorship candidate of All Progressive Congress.
We have to protect and preserve the values which are strength in diversity actually promote.
Immediate past Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Lady Valerie Ebe, urges Nigerians to vote massively for President Muhammadu Buhari as a dedicated and committed leader, going by his vision to take Nigeria to the next level.
If we are to think right, we should know that we have a president that we should give a second term, and that will be very good for Nigeria.
In Uyo, Marian Vincent Oko, NTA News.
In the meantime, Ogun State Governor Ibn Kule Hamusun has urged the people of the state to turn out en masse and vote for President Muhammadu Buhari in the February presidential election. This was the first of the governor's message as he commenced his word-to-word senatorial campaign in Ewekoro local government area of the state. Lekon Abonde reports.
Moving from coast to coast, the senatorial campaign train of Governor Ibikule Amosun toured the 10 wards in Ewekoro local government area of the state as he commences word-to-word campaign. From Obada to Awowo to Wasimi, Papa, Elere and other wards in the local government area, the enthusiastic people of the area welcomed the campaign team amidst pomp and pageantry. Expressing his desire to continuously serve and give his best to his people, Amosun promised to further make use of his experience in government to make life easier and better for the people of the senatorial district. Governor Amosun, while urging the people to jealously protect their franchise by not allowing anybody to deceive them and rob them of their PVC in the name of unrealistic promises, he enjoined them to rather come out en masse and cast their votes to re-elect President Buhari in the coming presidential election.
It's not just my election, no. The very first one that we must all do is the one for President Muhammadu Buhari.
Leaders and people of the area say the resume of the governor placed him in good stead to further engender good governance in favor of the people if elected. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
The Buhari Media Organization, BMO, has advised the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, to consider throwing in the towel in order to avoid a shattering defeat at the polls February 16. The group gave this advice in reaction to the defection of 4 top notches of the PDP to All Progressives Congress Party, APC. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niyi Akinsinju, and Secretary Kasidi Madweke, the party says the way and manner Atiku Abubakar as well as his party are losing support of prominent members of the party to team with President Buhari is unbecoming. The group says they have nothing but sympathy for Atiku and his party and believe it may be ideal for the PDP candidate to pull out of the presidential race, in line with what President Buhari said in a recent interview with this day's board of editors on defection to ruling party. The media organization added that contrary to the impression created by PDP elements of watered down their loss, none of the politicians who may have joined the ruling party to escape the glare of anti-graft agencies would be spared if found to have pending corruption cases. Now let's take a break for some messages. We'll continue shortly.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Women and Youth Presidential Campaign Team. the Southeast Women and Youth Zonal Rally for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Venue, Dan Anyam Stadium, Owerri. Date, Saturday, 12th January 2019. Time, 9 a.m. In attendance will be wife of the President, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, wife of the Vice President, Her Excellency Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, APC Deputy National Coordinator South, Barrister Juliet Ibekako Nwagu, APC Southeast Women Leaders, all APC zonal and state women leaders, all elected APC officials, all APC members. Chief host, Her Excellency Mrs. Nkechi Rochas Okorocha, wife of the Governor Imo State and zonal leader Southeast. Announcer Hajia Salamatu Baiwa Umar Eluma.
This is my PPA that brought me to this place through Empower Volunteer. I was posted there as a class teacher. I teach in primary 6 here. So it is after closing by 2 p.m. that I have time to go to my extensions, that is my plantation, my poultry proposed site.
The tiers of government also means the levels of government. What do I call it? The levels of government. The Empower 2016 said they work assiduously with us and they perform wonderfully well. Thank you.
Nigeria, a land of promise, land of potential, rich in oil, arable land and solid minerals. Yet hunger, joblessness, homelessness, and poverty are widespread. Over the years, Nigeria has suffered from hospitals without drugs, schools without teachers, and a huge infrastructure deficit. Clearly, we are yet to reach our full potential. And one of the reasons is because people choose bad leaders. Some even sell their conscience for a few thousand naira. For 2019 elections, don't sell your vote. Don't sell your future. Don't buy the people's lives. Vote selling is a crime against yourself. You will spend the next 4 years paying for it. Vote buying is against the law. Politicians, stop buying votes. People, stop selling your future. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
You're watching NTA Nationwide, and Lagos is our first port of call, and Dotun is standing by with reports from that zone. Dotun, over to you.
Thank you, Bintu, and welcome to Lagos. The Lagos State Government has unveiled 820 buses to kickstart its Bus Reform Initiative, a public transportation project designed to ease the daily commute of Lagos residents. Nosa Usula has the details.
A survey by the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that in Nigeria at large, over 80 million commuters daily depend on public transportation. In Lagos alone, at least 12 million persons use public transportation every day without standard facilities. Explaining the rationale behind the initiative during an extensive inspection tour of bus terminals as well as other ongoing projects in the state, Governor Ambode said the new buses and terminals were conceived to redefine public transportation in the state with the view to make the state globally competitive.
The feedback we're getting is that Lagosians are worried whether some of these our critical projects will be delivered before we leave office. We want to assure them that with what we've heard from the contractors and the inspection we've done today, these projects will be completed. And some of them, if they're not completed, Jide Sanwo-Olu will complete them.
The State's Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Ade Akinsanya, disclosed that arrangements have been made for the buses to be assembled in Lagos, which would in turn create jobs for the people and as well serve to properly maintain the buses. Governor Ambode had proposed the bus reform initiative with a view to deploying over 5,000 air-conditioned buses to replace the yellow commercial buses, which he said was no longer befitting for the state's mega city status. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in Lagos, Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, has officially kicked off his campaign with a visit to some local government areas and traditional rulers in the state. Mr. Agbaje, in each of the areas visited, urged Lagos residents to vote for PDP in the coming general elections. Bolaji Akeem completes the story.
Mr. Jimmy Agbaje's campaign flag off in Oshodi and Ejigbo, both in Oshodi, Solo local government area of Lagos State, also featured a town hall meeting where the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate took time to explain the idea and notion behind his campaign slogan. Mr. Agbaje urged Lagos residents to vote for People's Democratic Party in the coming elections so as to enjoy dividends of democracy. In Ejigbo and other areas visited, Mr. Agbaje assured artisans, small and medium-scale entrepreneurs of a better tomorrow if they vote for PDP in the coming election. The campaign train also visited the palace of Elewu of Ewututun and Osolo of Isolo in Oshodi, Isolo local government area. In Lagos, Bolaji Akeem, NTA News.
It's now time to join our Makurdi Network Center for more on Nationwide.
You're welcome to Makurdi. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says Nigeria Air Force will continue to ensure safety, peace and security in Agatu. Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar gave the assurance during his operational visit to the 21 NAV Quick Response Wing in Agatu local government area of Benue State. About reports that the Chief of Air Staff has declared Makurdi Air Force Base is ready for civil aviation.
Over the years, there have been a series of attacks on communities of Agatu local government area of Benue State by suspected armed bandits. It is to tackle this menace that the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, established this quick response wing of the Nigerian Air Force. And it is to assess the operation of this establishment that the Chief of Air Staff is now paying an operational visit to this area. The Chief of Air Staff is right here with us. What exactly is the drive for this initiative?
Our desire as a professional service is to protect communities and to show compassion to them and to ensure that they are secured. And from what we have discussed, I'm very happy with what has happened so far.
Traditional ruler of Agatu, Chief Godwin Honor, lauded the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, and indeed the federal government for being committed to the peace and security of the area.
Since they came in, we have had peace in the entire Agatu community. On day-to-day basis, if you call them for issues, they're there with us.
The Chief of Air Staff visited the Tactical Air Command, Nigerian Air Force Makurdi, where he announced that the airport is ready for civil operation after the rehabilitation of the runway.
We have cleared the safety concern. The runway is clear now, and I believe that as soon as you send out the NOTAM, those who wish to come and land here in Makurdi can come and land without.
With the takeoff of that aircraft, we are done from Agatu. It's now back to the studio.
Towards a peaceful poll in 2019, Taraba State governorship candidates have signed a peace accord pledging to abide to electoral rules and regulations. Joseph Hussein reports that the ceremony was organized by the State Police Command in collaboration with Independent National Electoral Commission.
18 political parties registered their presence at the Taraba State Police Command headquarters for the signing of the peace accord, but only 14 gubernatorial candidates were physically present. The 14 signed the peace accord, while the rest were encouraged to visit the police command headquarters to sign, as none of them is allowed to perform the exercise by proxy.
If contest for political offices is about service to humanity, we don't need to engage in acts of violence.
We must always consider Taraba State first before any other consideration.
The accord taxes governorship candidates to work towards preventing violence before, during, and after the elections. They are to abide by, as well as.
Now we are going back to our first report on multiple taxation, but we, however, would like to apologize for abrupt, coming back to Abuja. So we go back to the report that says the president has promised to proactively take a step towards ending illegal tax collection. Here's Adam Stumble with the report.
Members of the Amalgamated Union of Staff and Cattle Dealers, led by their national president Ali Tahir, were on the visit to draw the attention of President Muhammadu Buhari to what they call challenges of multiple taxation on the nation's highways, which negatively affect the running of their legitimate businesses. They say through the mountain of roadblocks by unknown persons in parts of the northeast, southeast and south-south, their members lose millions of naira daily and called for government intervention towards ending the unhealthy practice. President Muhammadu Buhari described as appalling the persistence of illegal tax collections in the country, especially on the highways.
Bad habits are not easily dropped. But let me assure you that relevant security agencies will be reminded of their duties in preventing these bad practices and safeguarding people like you who go about your legitimate businesses. I will take up all your appeals and complaints in due course, and together I will state governments, we will attend to your proposals.
The president maintained that the real wealth of the nation's economy lies in agriculture and livestock production, and therefore urged members of the union to be proud of their line of business that is critical to the economy. The forum also provided the opportunity for members of the union to formally appreciate the revolutionary initiatives of the Buhari presidency in various sectors of the country's economy and pledged unalloyed commitment to the next level movement.
We look forward to joining the trend that will, inshallah, bring you back to office later this year.
I must thank you for your energetic support to our campaigns in 2015, and I am very pleased that you are determined to support us this year as well. I am grateful.
Members of the union made a case for the establishment of a food and livestock market along Lagos-Ogun rail and expressways to provide ready market for the millions of farmers empowered by the present administration. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Moving on, gallant troops of 7th Division Garrison carrying out cordon and search operations in conjunction with troops of 195 Battalion, Mobile Police and civilian JTF in some parts of the fringes of Maiduguri today, Friday, discovered and arrested a wanted Boko Haram terrorist group member called Babagana Abubakar, a.k.a. Alagarno, hiding at Bulim Ngarnam community. A statement signed by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Pukasheka Usman, indicates that the terrorist was found hiding in a room in possession of 2 military ballistic helmets, a pair of military desert boots, a fragment jacket, a JC pullover, military backpack, camouflage design shirt, 2 voter registration cards and an ID card, national identification card, amulets, camouflage T-shirts and military jungle hats, and has since been moved out of the area for further interrogation. The acting general officer commanding 7th Division, who is also the commander Sector 1 of Operation Lafia Dole, also visited the troops and conveyed the theater commander Operation Lafia Dole's commendation to them for the painstaking efforts and professionalism. In its efforts to wipe out remnants of Boko Haram terrorists that now go by the appellation of Islamic State of West Africa province, the gallant troops of the newly formed Nigerian Army Special Forces Command, Operation Lafia Dole, have given the terrorists that attacked troops' location in Baga a bloody nose. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Saniku Kashika Usman, says the triumphant troops, particularly the highly revered 707 Special Forces Brigade, which is the vanguard of the great exploit, neutralized several terrorists and recovered arms and ammunition. Unfortunately, in the process, the Special Forces lost 1 officer and soldier, while 5 other soldiers sustained injuries. The remains of the 2 fallen heroes and the wounded have since been evacuated. Meanwhile, the army has called on the citizens, especially those within the Maiduguri metropolis, to cooperate and support the ongoing fight against insurgency. This is coming on the heels of credible information and evidence that some elements of Boko Haram terrorists have infiltrated some villages on the fringes of Maiduguri town in a bid to further intensify their psychological war and instill fear on the citizens. A statement by the Deputy Director Public Relations, Colonel Onyema Machuku, says these terrorists have been going about threatening innocent residents, warning them to vacate their homes, compelling several inhabitants to move out of their ancestral homes. The Army urges members of the public to promptly report the presence of suspicious persons or avail the security agencies of information about such persons, as failure to report will be viewed seriously as collaboration with the Boko Haram terrorists. Still talking security, the Ministry of Defense has closed some routes in Abuja as part of activities to ensure a smooth celebration of this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day parade. A statement by the Acting Director, Defense Information, Brigadier General John Agin, indicates that the following routes in Abuja will be blocked on the 15th of January 2019 from 9 o'clock in the morning. The routes are the Court of Appeal Junction, Foreign Affairs Junction, Bayelsa House Junction and Benue House Junction. Others include Phase 3 flyover, also Drive by Phase 3 and Mopol Gate behind National Arcade. Now, the Nigerian government has signed a memorandum of understanding with China aimed at building capacity of military personnel in the fight against insurgency. Victor Azu reports that the Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, represented Nigeria.
See you again. Promise made, promise kept. This warm handshake between the Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, and the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Zijuping Jian, signals the signing of a memorandum of understanding worth 50 million Chinese yuan to support the Nigerian military in its fight against insurgency.
President Xi also reached a consensus with President Buhari to further boost our bilateral relations, including military-to-military relations. And from our side, the China side is willing to provide another 50 million Chinese yuan for the capacity building for Nigerian military.
While thanking the Chinese government, Nigeria's Minister of Defense acknowledges the need for international cooperation in the war on terror.
Insurgency is not a single country's problem. It's a global problem which all nations should come together and fight it together. I thank you most sincerely for coming, and we really appreciate the gesture done to us.
The commitment to support Nigeria's military was made in Beijing last September during bilateral talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and President Xi Jinping. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Moving on, Minister of Health Professor Isaac Adewale says maternal and infant mortality as well as neonatal care are key in the National Strategic Health Development Plan 2 of the present administration. He stated this on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria. Abdulsalam Jubril reports that the minister, alongside other guests, discussed challenges and realization of the plan.
The National Strategic Health Development Plan, Phase 2, which was approved in September 2018 by the Federal Executive Council, is a roadmap for achieving health policies and to ensure that Nigerians have accessible, affordable, and efficient healthcare services, especially in the rural areas. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, said the plan will strengthen the health system in the country as all stakeholders are consulted in its formulation.
For the first time, we engage the entire nation in the development process. The first plan suffered from that disability. In all the goals, I think we only achieved one.
Commissioner for Health, Niger State, and Chairman, Nigerian Commissioners for Health Forum, Dr. Mustafa Jibril, and Director, Policy and Advocacy, Nigerian Health Watch, Dr. Ifeanyi Nsofo, believe the collaboration of state governments is key in the success of the plan.
I think the success of this will really depend on how state governments, take it.
It was important for us to continue to also engage our governors.
Consultant orthopedic surgeon at Sokoro General Hospital, Dr. Chris Otabo, and coordinator, African Health Budget Network, Dr. Aminu Gara, called for full involvement of the private sector and civil society in its implementation.
We need to ensure that the civil society organizations are fully on ground.
The Honorable Minister of Health has been very dynamic, but he needs to engage the private sector.
They urge government to ensure that the plan is effectively implemented. In Abuja, Abdulsalam Jubril, NTA News.
Thank you, Abdulsalam. Now, Borno State government to involve members of Nigerian Legion in the fight against insurgency. For these and other stories, let's join our Maiduguri Network Center for the details with Abubakar. Over to you, Abubakar.
And a warm welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State government has solicited the involvement of members of the Nigerian Legion in the ongoing counter-insurgency war. Governor Kashim Shettima made case for their participation when the leadership of Borno State chapter of the Legion, accompanied by the General Officer commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Abdul Malik Bulama Biu, and leadership of other security agencies called on him at the government house to formally flag off the emblem Appeal Week 2019. Mohammed Goni will now bring us more details of the report.
Though retired, Governor Kashim Shettima observed the Nigerian Legion had the needed experiences, discipline, and commitment to play a critical role in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations.
You still have the residual courage to make wonderful decisions. So I will ask you, I will challenge you to produce, to generate the 500 of your men that will complement the duty of the retired legionnaires of the legionnaires. Has to do with the fact that nobody will question their commitment, their integrity, or their patriotism.
The governor paid tribute to the members of the Nigerian Legion for their sacrifices to their fatherland over the years and assured them of continuous support and to the Nigerian Armed Forces. GOC 7th Division Brigadier General Abdul Malik Bulama Biu thanked the Borno State government for its support, adding that Governor Shettima's words and actions have always encouraged the Nigerian military in the discharge of its statutory responsibilities and stressed commitment to restore the dignity of the citizenry. Chairman of the Borno State chapter of the Nigerian Legion, Colonel William Mamza, retired, appreciated the support of the present administration to the Legion and appealed to the state and the local government as well as well-meaning Nigerians to donate generously to the cause of the Nigerian Legion.
This occasion is just to formalize the proceeding which is ongoing, and it is expected to end on the 15th of January where the Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day and the Emblem Appeal Week will come to an end. From the council chambers of the government house in Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it is determined to effectively manage the humanitarian situation in Borno State, as it has all the necessary wherewithal to discharge its primary responsibility diligently. Director, Search and Rescue of NEMA, Air Commodore Akube Iyamu, stated this while flagging off special distribution exercise of food and non-food items at Shetima Alimonguno Teachers Village IDP camp in Maiduguri, following directive by the Director General of National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Yunusa Mehaja. Here is the report. This distribution exercise is basically because of the influx of IDPs into Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, due to recent attacks on some communities by Boko Haram insurgents. However, the Director, Search and Rescue, is in charge of it. Sir, can you explain more on this development?
Okay. Let me convey the regrets of the Director General for his inability to attend. We would have loved to be here, but as I speak to you now, you know, similar crisis is ongoing in the Zamfara state. It's on its way to Zamfara now. So, having said that, he is very passionate about Borno State. And for the past 1 week, he has been on it. He has mobilized from all the resources around the north here to be centered here in Maiduguri to take care of these people. His own concern is that, first of all, you must give them a human face. Give them the dignity of human being. That's why they are in the camp. Make them feel like a human being, so that from there, we take off from there.
The zonal office is quite appreciative of the effort of the headquarters.
And that's our contribution from Maiduguri. Time now to take a break to bring you more reports on Nationwide shortly. Good afternoon.
Politics democratically affords a level playing field for everyone who carries the will and courage to lead a people in the right direction.
I wish to call on women to go and spread the good news and accomplishment of the present administration.
Women inevitably are the right source to pave this path that can bring good governance, structural stability, rapid economic growth, and basic human rights to all its citizenry. There is no better time than now to experience their prowess in this era, when women all over the world are showing that they have the right tools to build a nation. The Buhari-led administration and APC have aligned with its purpose to involve women with the right vision. The idea is not just for participation, but inclusive participation.
We can exert more power than we would have individually in garnering the majority of registered women and youth voters to vote for the Buhari-Osibanjo team come 2019.
This is what change is all about. This is the vision of the All Progressives Congress. This is for a new Nigeria.
The Honorable Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, on behalf of members of the Armed Forces, announces the activities marking the 2019 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. The event started with a press briefing by the Honorable Minister of Defense on 12th October 2018, which was followed by an emblem appeal launch by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari on 31st October 2018. Other activities lined up include Jumat prayers, date Friday 11th January 2019, venue National Mosque Abuja, time 1 p.m. Interdenominational Church Service, date Sunday 13th January 2019, venue National Christian Center Abuja, time 12 noon. Laying of Wreath, date Tuesday 15th January 2019, venue National Arcade Abuja, time 9 a.m. The activities will also take place across the Federation on the same date and venue as designated by the various state governments. Join the armed forces in remembering the fallen heroes who sacrificed their lives for peace and security of our dear nation. Brigadier General John Agim, Acting Director, Defense Information, announcer.
The Candidates, a presidential town hall co-production between Daria Media and NTA, supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Kingsley Mogalu and running mate Omar Getso of the Young Progressive Party, Muhammadu Buhari and running mate Yemi Osinbajo of the All Progressives Congress, Omoyele Sowore and running mate Rabiu Ahmed Rufai of the African Action Congress, Atiku Abubakar and running mate Peter Obi of the People's Democratic Party. Moderator Kadria Ahmed. Dates starts Wednesday 9th January 2019.
Peaceful coexistence with their host community. This is a promise delivered by my principal, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to clean up Ogoni land, improve on the life of the people of the Niger Delta and Nigeria in general.
This handover ceremony is coming after the launch of the cleanup exercise on the 2nd of June 2018 by President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's now quickly have the weather prospect for tomorrow, Saturday.